Media has guardrails, insurance companies, plane, you know, it just, everybody has guardrails. These people don't, and so they can do whatever they want.
I got good news. They finally came out and just said it. The View and the insane people that they represent, they want Elon Musk silenced or jailed, or probably both when you really break it down to the X's and O's, right? Because he can do whatever he wants. And more important than that, he's done his best to make sure that you and I can also do whatever we want. You can't have that. You can't have that. I almost forgot how freaking crazy these people are, man. The hosts and the guests that come on The View. This lady I'm going to show you, her name is Kara Swisher, and she seems reasonable, right? That's why you got to listen to her words, man. I think she's a New York Times columnist, basically some sort of social justice warrior masquerading as a comedian, or I don't know what she is exactly, but basically they're going to get into a conversation about how Elon Musk specifically, you know, they pretend to talk about big tech in the aggregate, and they end up talking a little bit about Facebook, a little bit about Zuckerberg, but they're talking about Musk. This whole exercise is about Elon Musk.
A lot of them, and I don't mean, some of them are innocuous and some of them don't mean to do, but it doesn't really matter in the end at all.
Well, let's talk about some of the good guys, because you trace the villainous ones like Zuckerberg and...
I don't think Mark is villainous, but go ahead.
You don't?
No, I think that's too easy to call them villains.
What would you call them?
I think he is
careless,
ill-equipped to deal with issues. When we had that argument, Holocaust deniers, I was talking about Alex Jones and a bunch of things. You need to take them down. They're breaking your rules.
Right.
And he said, everyone needs to speak. And I said, 2 years, 3 years of this over your transom, all this toxic waste is going to have an effect down the line.
Yeah.
And he said, no, they won't. And 2 years later, he threw them off. So in that 2 years, that's how much toxic waste went through.
The big lie. You just keep repeating it. They know that.
Trump did that.
Yes,
you know,
Trump did that.
So
he learned that back in the 40s, 30s.
you can anticipate this stuff.
But what about a couple of good guys? You mentioned Mark Cuban and Tim Cook at Apple.
Is it just me, man, or does Joy Behar not even try anymore, man? Everything is Donald Trump, and everything else is NAZI. She sees Trump and NAZI basically everywhere she looks. I mean, that's what she's saying. Trump learned all his lying back in the 30s with all the other jackboots. But anyway, that's not why I showed you this part. I want to show you this journalist here. This is a self-professed journalist talking about telling Mark Zuckerberg that he should silence certain people and certain beliefs. And of course, they got to get in that Mark Cuban, he's a good guy in all this. Mark Cuban's a tech good guy. Go figure.
How do we explain to parents that the behavior that they are indulging in with their phones and being on the internet and doing all that stuff, how do we get them to recognize that they're not helping?
Because they themselves...
So Whoopi Goldberg, think about this, man. Think about this. Whoopi Goldberg, who thinks that parents should be able to manipulate a child's gender, basically without question, no strings attached, is trying to give some sort of public service announcement to parents about the dangers of social media. And honestly, it is dangerous. I mean, she's not wrong. On this topic, she's not wrong. But I think an unintended consequence of her policing of the internet would actually be a measurable impact on the very issue I started with that I'm very careful to talk about. But anyway, I mean, how hilarious is that? How tone deaf can these people be? And let me know this. Can you imagine what would actually happen to the average liberal propagandist brain if they could keep a consistent set of beliefs and values and use those to discuss each and every issue, just build them on the same core values, right? Can you imagine them having a gender conversation from the point of view of these parents damaging their kids with their social media use?
Which party do you think would solve that problem faster?
All of them together. They cannot do it not together. This is impossible to do so. And there's
who
great
will lead
people.
the way? Who will lead the way?
Well, someone is leaving the conference.
Rogers
You know, Mike Gallagher. Who I don't agree with him on anything.
Klobuchar's great on it.
Klobuchar. There's lots of people.
So clearly, there's much more to talk about, but we've run out of time. But Kara Swisher wants you to know that she wants you to have time because she's going to be on the Behind the Table podcast with Alyssa. And you can also listen to it on any podcast app. And the Burn Book, A Tech Love Story, is out today. And you know what, y'all? You've been so good. You've been so poised. You look really interested. You want to know what's going on, too, don't you? You want the book. You want the book. So you're all getting a copy of the book.
And this is where Joy starts to have some withdrawal symptoms. She hasn't heard any anti-Republican insanity in a matter of minutes. And she has to try and make that happen. Well, what party do you think will solve this? Not the worthless Republicans, right? Well, they have to do it together, she says. And she's right. Oh, okay, Joy says, but who's going to lead the way? And it's not going to be those Republicans, right? Well, she actually names a Republican. She has to preface it with, look, I don't like the guy, but he'll lead the way. And poor Joy, if she actually knew who Mike Gallagher was, she'd have lost her freaking mind.
These people they can do whatever they want here. And look, everyone has guardrails. Media has guardrails. Insurance companies, plane, everybody has guardrails. These people don't, and so they can do whatever they want. And they take our information in, including young people. Yes. They then gobble it up, spit it back out at us, charge us, and ask us to say thank you. I'm sorry. That seems like it's not a scam, but the American taxpayer paid for the internet. Let's just keep that in mind. Yeah. And so gave Elon Musk a loan to save Tesla, and then he trashes the government. I'm sort of like, okay, sure.
Well, because there are no consequences.
And here's where we are, the meat of the stuff, man. What exactly do you think that Whoopi Goldberg thinks the consequences should be? I mean, does she believe that it should be written into these government loans and grants? Like this funding that you, Elon Musk, are going to use to continue the American space program and save the planet from gas-guzzling Corvettes and their New Balance-wearing boomers is only granted on the condition and the understanding that you will not promote free speech or any other abhorrent, unregulated freedoms, and you will not impugn the government or its surrogates. I mean, what the hell is she even talking about? I mean, these are the people that preach tolerance, right? They preach acceptance. These are the people that use the word authoritarian as some sort of vitriolic descriptor of everyone, literally everyone who disagrees with them. And just think about this. They're supposed to be journalists, or whatever you want to call them. They're the bringers of news and current events. And they're here suggesting that we can't be critical of the government. I mean, just think about that. Critical of the government is their one and only true duty. And they think Elon Musk should face consequences for doing and really allowing the common man to do exactly what they're supposed to be doing themselves. You can't make that shit up, man. But anyway, that's just about as much as I think is fair to subject you guys to on The View. That's just my take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, guys, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.